Hi, I'm Tim Whelan, and today you'll see a quick demo of how to search for new high-quality service providers in ServiceChannel, how to learn about their capabilities and performance metrics, and how to invite them to work with you. For your convenience, we're breaking the demo into 3 parts, each around 5 minutes long. In this chapter, you'll see different ways to structure your search to find the service providers who can do the best job for you. So the first thing we're going to do when we log into ServiceChannel is find the provider search menu in the top center, and then click on that. That's going to bring us to the landing page for provider search. And the first 2 things we're going to see are a search field for the trade that you're looking for and a search field for the area that you need this coverage for. In addition to that, you're going to see some general recommendations and your own coverage map. But in this example, we're going to go ahead and search for plumbing. And it's important to select the suggested trade from the dropdown to get as precise of a match as possible. And then we're going to go ahead and search for the area that we want to get coverage for. So I'm going to pick a city in Vermont, and we're going to click search. So once we've hit search, our results are going to be presented to us for this trade in this city. And what's going to happen is these providers are going to be displayed in a default relevance. And this default relevance considers several different factors. So you might be surprised to see that the first provider that's ranked here has a speed score of 55, whereas the second one has a speed score of 88. And that's because we consider several factors besides just the speed and quality score. We consider the speed score and the quality score for sure. In addition to that, we also look at whether the provider is a self-performer or a broker, whether they are local, multi-regional, or maybe even national. Lastly, we also consider, based on their work order history, how well have they served your industry specifically, whether it's retail or grocery stores or convenience stores or whatever it may be. However, we understand that this default sorting mechanism may not suit your exact needs, and everybody has different needs for different trades. So for that reason, we've introduced several different filters to narrow down your search results and different sorting options just to rearrange them based on what you really need. So if we start by looking at the sorting mechanism, the default sort is by relevance, which I just described as all these different factors. But if you click on this dropdown, you can actually pick whatever sorting suits you best. So if you are looking for a plumber that is really fast, we can sort by speed score. And that's going to rearrange the search results in a way that the top provider has an 88 in speed, the second one has an 82, 81, and so on. And if I were to do the same thing for quality, we would see the same effect. All the other factors are still showing, whether they are self-performing. This one has a cost-effective label and so on. In addition to speed and quality sorting, we can also sort by industry match only, which will rearrange the search results so that whatever providers have serviced your industry the most will end up at the top. And lastly, we have a sorting mechanism called plumbing focused. Plumbing focused will rearrange the search results in a way that it'll show providers who have the highest density of plumbing work orders. A lot of providers provide multiple trades, and they might be scattered or they might not be specialized. But plumbing focused will show you those providers that exclusively do plumbing, or they do more plumbing than other providers in the area. So all of these will rearrange the results, but it won't narrow them down or reduce the number of results. When we look at the filters here on the left-hand side, the first filter is diversity or verified diversity, which I'm going to get into in a little bit. The second one is to narrow down the search results to just see which providers are self-performers, essentially eliminating brokers. And we can see that if we wanted to do that, we would end up with 78 results. In addition to that, we can also filter down what coverage scale we're looking for. So if I only want to see local providers, there's 4 of those. If we only want to see local and multi-regional, it would be a total of 48 providers, and so on for the other categories. In this case, I'm going to say that we want to look for a diverse provider who does plumbing in Vermont. So I'll apply the diversity filter, and we're going to be left with 3 providers, I believe. Yeah. And all of these will have the verified diverse business label, along with all the other information that the providers have in this search result page. In this chapter, you'll see how to evaluate the providers who come up in your search, including explanations of how the rankings and performance data is compiled. We could go ahead and take a look at this first provider, New England Air Systems, LLC. You can either message them or invite them straight from this search result menu, or you can actually click on them to learn more. So we're going to do that. And we're going to end up on New England Air System, LLC's profile. And the first part of the profile has a lot of general information that is self-reported by them. They're a broker, they serve only grocery stores, they have 13 years in business, etc. The next box is what we call verified business details. And this is something we're super excited about. Since 2021, ServiceChannel has been partnered with Middesk, which is a third-party data verification company that will validate or verify certain data points about all the providers on Provider Search. So in this case, we can see that the technical exact legal name of this company is New England Air Systems, LLC, which is extremely close to what they have self-reported. We can see that they are a women-owned business, which makes sense because we applied the diversity filter. And again, this is verified by Middesk, which means that they've submitted all the paperwork and been verified as diverse. We can also see that they have an active business license, when that was last updated. We can see the name of the officers in the company. In addition, verified how long they've been in business and what type of entity they are. So we could see corporation or LLC or sole proprietorship here. If we scroll down below these general details about the company, we're going to get to the service coverage menu. And this will default be on plumbing because that's what we searched for. And it'll show a map with two different colors. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit here. And what we're going to see is this blue area is where they say that they do business and where we have a history of completed work orders. So the blue area is where we can actually verify that they've gone out and done work before. The gray areas are where they claim that they will go, but don't necessarily have work order history in ServiceChannel. So it's pretty clear here what areas they say that they operate in, which ones they have a work order history in with ServiceChannel, and these non-covered areas is where they say they won't go. Below this, we'll see some information about their operating hours, their after hours, where their headquarters is located, and whether or not they have any regional offices. Okay, so after the service coverage areas and their office information, we have a section for their work order count. We can see here in the past 36 months that they have done 296 work orders for plumbing across all industries. And if they had worked in multiple industries, we would be able to select those here. And if they do multiple trades, which they do, we can also see specifically how many work orders they've done for other trades in this time span. And of course, this reflects the number of work orders that they've done on ServiceChannel. Below the work order count, we have a more detailed breakdown about what makes their quality and speed score 77. And you can also see how that has fluctuated over the months. So this typically seems like there's a high stability with work performance. We can see their check-in rates, their one-time visit rates. We can see that they have not declined any plumbing work orders in this time span. And same thing for speed score. We can see detailed KPIs on what makes their speed score 77, essentially, as well as how it's fluctuated over time. In this section of the demo, you'll learn how to easily connect with your new providers through messaging and the invitation process. If we go back to the top and we've decided that this is a provider that we're interested in working with, or we might have questions, the first thing we can do is click the message button, which will open up a chat box, and you can type messages that will go straight to the mobile phone of somebody who works at this providing company. Once we've analyzed all this information and we realize that this is a provider that we want to work with, we can go ahead and click the invite button. And the invite flow in ServiceChannel has been completely revamped when Provider Search was launched. So the first thing we're going to do when we get into this invitation flow is give the provider as much information as we can about the opportunity, which will increase our chances of getting a quick acceptance. So the first thing I'm going to do is specify that this invitation is regarding plumbing. If I wanted to, I could add more trades and say that I want both of these trades or as many as you need. The next step is we're going to describe for the provider the size of this opportunity and the locations of this opportunity. We have different ways of specifying which stores. We can do it one by entering store IDs. Or, for example, we could say that we want to do all the locations or all the stores in a certain county, city, state, or district or region. In this case, I'm going to say that I want plumbing and HVAC for all the locations in Vermont. And what happens then is the locations are presented. They're all listed here. We can select or deselect some of them. We see the address of where they are, and all of this information will go to the provider. So in this case, the provider is going to understand that we want HVAC and plumbing service for 16 locations spread across Vermont. And if there's 2 or 3 of these locations that I am fully covered for and I don't need service there, I can exclude that from the invitation and just set realistic expectations. Once I've specified exactly what the opportunity is in terms of number of locations and trade, I'll click next. And a default message that will reach the provider is presented. So this is a demo environment, but in your environment, the number of work orders will actually be estimated automatically. In this case, it says 0, but I can go in and change this to say, well, you can expect about 500 work orders per year. And then you can also break it down based on what your expected response rate is. So, if we're saying we want all of these 500 to be within 4 hours to 24 hours, we can do that. Or we can say, well, the majority, 450 of them will be within this time bracket, and maybe 50 of them will be really urgent work orders that we'll need help with quickly. And again, these are obviously estimates, but the more accurate you can be, the more likely the provider is going to take it seriously and understand exactly what the opportunity is and respond quickly. So once we've updated this default message, maybe edited the fonts or colorings to whatever way we want, we can click next. And here we can set how long we want this invitation to be valid for. We can assign invitation labels to it to help you sort through and organize your invitations in ServiceChannel. And then finally, you can attach documents. So if you have any PDFs about what your SLAs are or some general information about your company, you can choose to attach them here, drag and drop, or upload to the classic method, and then click next just to get a final summary of what your invitation is going to look like. Here we can see that this is an invitation summary for New England Air Systems. We see what trades it's relevant for, what locations. We can go through a detailed list of those locations. And then we can see the customized message that we wrote. And of course, in this customized message, I just edited the number of work orders, but you can add any type of information about this invite that you want. If you see that you've made a mistake, you want to add something to your message, you can click edit. You can go back. You can say, actually, we're going to also need 100 work orders that have more than 24-hour response time. They're not going to be urgent. We can go back and do that. And then finally get to our summary page and click invite when we're ready to send off this order. That brings us to the conclusion of provider search. We really appreciate your time today, and we hope that this will help you find the best performing providers based on your needs and based on the geography of your locations. And thank you all again for coming, and have a wonderful day.